Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I've added about 5 really solid titles to my collection this week. And I'm going to tell you which one was the most expensive and where I got these from. But before I do that, I did want to just give you guys a quick channel update and kind of let you know a little bit about where I'm going to be going with the channel. Now, I recently took a look at some of my YouTube channel analytics, something that I never really look at because I don't really, I don't treat my channel like a business. I'm not necessarily trying to grow it, to 10,000 subscribers overnight. Everything that I've been able to accomplish on this channel has been purely organic and just by me just doing what I want to do. I don't track when I post and try to post at strategic times to drive, anything. I don't do all of the things that someone would do to get into the algorithm. Because that's a lot of what YouTube is about. A lot of the success that you see occur on YouTube is done by YouTube content creators who have mastered getting into the algorithm. And so I think that's a big part of the reason why one of my videos can do 200 views and then another one of my videos will do 5,000 views in the same month or sometimes even in the same week. And it's just because of the randomness of how I post and what I bring to the table on YouTube. But for me, having taken a look at my analytics, one of the biggest things that I think stood out to me when I looked at my analytics was that, in a nutshell, I'm not providing enough value to the viewer, right? So for those who just like me and just like my point of view, many of you have stayed around primarily because of that. You've hung around because maybe you like me, maybe you like the games I collect, maybe you like my collecting style, maybe you like, you know, my thought process. For whatever reason, you stuck around, but that's really a small percentage of you. When I look at my total views, believe it or not, my channel has done over 2.1, like I think I'm at about 2.2 million views for the channel, which is a lot of views. But when you kind of compare that to the amount of subscribers and things like that, and then you also look at the watch time and retention and things like that, when I look at my analytics, it just kind of told me that I'm probably not providing as much value as I think I am. And so one of the things that I think I'm going to be changing on the channel is really how I approach giving you guys value, whether it be information about gaming, whether it be in the form of entertainment. And entertainment doesn't necessarily have to mean me, you know, coming up with a bunch of bells and whistles and noises and sound effects and quick cuts and things like that. Sometimes the entertainment value could just be in maybe more well thought out, conversations about gaming or nostalgia or retro game prices or the video game industry or collecting as a whole. And, for me, what I'm going to start doing is really start committing to how I go about providing better value, which means, which could mean rather how often I upload. Maybe I'm not going to be uploading as much. At one point I was uploading like 2 to 3 times per day, which definitely wasn't sustainable. I took a break from YouTube for the first 3 months of the year, or first, I would say for maybe about 2 to 3 months coming out of 2025 and going into this year, I'd kind of taken a break from YouTube. And so I think how I go about creating content for you guys, and my topics, I think are going to be what will probably change. And I think it's also going to kind of dictate the videos I create and what kind of value I'm going to bring to the table. Now, two of the things that this channel has been built on for sure, well, one of the things this channel has been built on for sure has been nostalgia, retro gaming nostalgia. And that's something that I'm definitely going to continue to tap into. Just touching on, pop culture moments that are associated with certain video games we play, along with my own personal experience and my own personal nostalgia that I have towards retro video games, as well as maybe other stories that some of you might share with me as well, regarding video games. But that's definitely something we're going to continue to center the content around, is for sure retro gaming nostalgia. But I think the other piece that we're going to kind of center the channel around is going to be collecting. And that's collecting in a lot of facets, right? From how we value our collection to the monetary value of the collection, the sentimental value of the collection, collecting strategies, quality over quantity, things like that. And, specifically hitting on like the how collectible certain games are. And, when it comes to how much we're spending versus, what we're getting, what kind of return are we getting on our collection investment? Because when you do collect things, it is an investment. A lot of gamers, and I think some people hear that and they're like, don't invest in video games. If you're investing in video games, you're stupid. Well, really, anything you spend your money on is an investment. From the clothes you buy to the food that you buy and you put in your body, from where you live, anything you spend your time and money on is an investment. So that's kind of how I look at it. I don't look at investing in video games the same way I would look at investing in the stock market or in real estate, but it's still an investment. And so we're definitely going to be looking at it from that standpoint. And so those are going to be the two ways that, I kind of look at, the content that's created. And think I'm definitely going to take a little bit different of an approach. So you can expect to see that happen, moving forward. Every time I've tried to kind of change the direction of the channel, real life things happen, right? Whether it be career changes, changes with my family, having kids, things like that, which kind of just takes my attention away from my channel and I just get back to real life, which is always going to be more important than YouTube. But just kind of looking at where, I'm at with the channel and things like that, and just having had a chance to kind of sit down and look at that, definitely something that I'm going to be looking at. So you can definitely expect some changes on the channel, expect some more concentrated, focused topics on the channel. But that's going to be centered around nostalgia and just the collecting, the art of collecting, the financial aspect of it, the investment side of it. Those are definitely going to be things we talk about. Now, I do have about 5 games that have come in so far this week, all pretty solid games. Some of these you kind of can already tell where they came from. So we'll start with these 3 because these are probably, well, these 2 are definitely the most obvious. But we'll start with these 3. So first we have a GameStop Online pickup that came in the mail. This is Battletoads Double Dragon for the NES. This game is on so many different consoles between the NES, the Super Nintendo. I'm not sure if it's on the Game Boy. I know it's on the Sega Genesis. It's just, this game is just everywhere. And so I didn't expect for it to have the value that it does have. But this is like an $85 to $90 game on the NES. Don't really get why. Obviously, the Super Nintendo version is superior to this version. Not sure why, but this is a very expensive game on the NES. And it's one that I got, I think, during their buy two get one. So sorry, Joshua Leonard, I now have your game. And this is one that came in the mail. Then we have these 2. So we have the Warriors on the original Xbox. I would kind of rather have it on the PlayStation 2, I'll be honest, but for $19.99 on the Xbox, I couldn't pass this up. The only unfortunate part is that it does not have the manual. So now I'm gonna have to kind of track that manual down, but getting this on the Xbox is pretty cool. It might even play better on the Xbox, to be honest with you, but this was one that I wanted to grab just because it was only 20 bucks. So I thought that that was a good deal. And then this copy of Manhunt 2. Now, I'm definitely going to be having to do a case swap. I was a little hesitant to buy this because I thought that the yellow sticker, even though it's underneath the plastic, I thought it was actually attached to the cover art, but it's not. Someone was smart enough to put a piece of paper between it, so I can just slide this out, and the cover art is actually really clean on this. So that's the good thing. Even though this says $49.99, I did not pay $49.99 for this. I used a coupon and this came in at 25 bucks. So 25 bucks for Manhunt 2. I'm pretty sure Manhunt 2 is about a $100 game. So definitely a really good deal there on this one. 25 for that. Not mad at that at all. And this copy of Manhunt 2 is complete. So it does have the manual. Can't tell you how many times I've picked this game up with no manual inside it, but this copy was complete, so I was stoked to find that. Then we have this complete in-box copy of Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2. Unfortunately, this is not the plus version, which is like, the $200+ version. This is just the standard version. Still a decent game, and still, I think this is like a $90 game, if I'm not mistaken. But you have the manual here on the little code deal, and then the disc. This I went ahead and snagged, picked this up. Was really stoked to get this on a Facebook Marketplace deal. So this is a Facebook Marketplace deal. Got this for 60. Normally goes for 90. Went ahead and got that. I thought it was a pretty decent deal. I actually wasn't going to pick this up, but because I was gonna be in an area where the seller was gonna be, it really wasn't gonna cost me anything time-wise to pick this up. And at the 33% off, I said, I'll go ahead and just snag it up and add it to the GameCube collection there. And then the biggest pickup of them all was this copy of God Hand on the PlayStation 2. This was actually an eBay pickup. Now, finding a complete in-box copy of God Hand in good condition is extremely tough these days. This is one of those PlayStation 2 games that I think is going to become really scarce. It may have its moments where there's more copies on eBay here and there, but the price for this game this is one of the few games that since 2020 has continued to go up in price. I don't know why. I remember when I first got this game, I think I got this game for maybe like 120 bucks back when I first got it. Then over time it started to go up. It was like at 150. Then it kind of went up to like 175, then it went up to like around 200. And now I'm seeing this game average somewhere between 240 and 280. I'm seeing a lot of copies of this game go for 300, not even brand new, just like complete in box. People are asking 300 for it. A really dope game. If you like 3D beat 'em ups, this is a sick game. This kind of falls somewhere within the realm of like Fist of the North Star, on like the PlayStation 3. It's kind of like the 3D beat 'em up style. Very, very dope game, but it's just getting more and more rare. So I found this actually on eBay. The seller had it listed for 220, or actually had it listed for more, and I got them down to 220. And so for me, this was a good deal. I didn't have to go drive anywhere to find it. It was shipped straight to my door, so no travel expense, no gas spent. This was just sent to me, and I got it for what appears to be under market right now, because I think even on price charting, it's like a $240 game. This is one of those games that I had to bite the bullet on and just get on eBay, just because, like I said, could I wait and try to see if I could find this game in the wild? Sure. The odds of that, though, are really slim. And if I did find it in the wild, it probably wasn't going to be in a condition that I felt was going to be good for me. So this is one that I actually went to eBay on, and I'm glad I did. I'm satisfied with this copy. The disc is perfect. The manual is perfect. The game itself is in great condition. And these are the three ways. You've got eBay, you've got Facebook Marketplace, you've got GameStop in-store, and you've got GameStop online. And this is kind of where I'm using all avenues to add certain pieces to my collection, because collecting is continuing to get more and more difficult. Finding quality titles is getting more and more difficult, and there are titles that you just don't see as often in the wild anymore that you kind of have to track down. And these are going to be some of the things that I talk about, coming up, in the future, as we kind of alter the way I alter the way I deliver content to you guys. I want to talk more about what I'm doing and how I'm building a curated collection. You guys have heard me talk about curating your collection, and adding only certain pieces. Less is more, quality over quantity, and that's kind of what we're focusing on. So I will be engaging in a purge. A purge is coming to the collection that I built so far. I've tried to do some purging, and I've been able to successfully do some purging, but I have a lot more purging to go, because I've bought a number of different collections. And so I really bought those collections for only like a handful of games, and I've got a bunch of stuff left over that I do need to purge out of my current collection and get those numbers down. So we'll talk more about that, as we go into the second half of the year. Just like I said, after having taken a look at some of those analytics, I realized, some things need to kind of get shaken up here. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you would like to see from me, based on what my channel has been about. What would you like to see? How would you like to see me film it? What kind of content would you want me to get into? I'm kind of just tired of doing the same type of stuff. So I want to dive a little bit deeper. I want to explore a little bit more. I really kind of want to talk more about the collectible side of video games, the financial impacts, the financial implications. I do want to talk about that. I know that's something that not a lot of people like. They hate getting into that part of it, but it is a reality that we have to accept. And, you know, I don't think it's graded games and nothing else. Like to me, it doesn't seem right that the only people that get to talk about video games from a financial aspect are the ones who grade the games, because there is still very much a viable market for pre-owned games that aren't in graded status but are still in either mint condition, really good condition. Maybe they're not graded, but they're highly collectible games. They're highly sought after. They're rare, and they're games that people have in their collection. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.